Hi guys, today I'll be giving you my full card predictions for UFC 327 Procházka versus Ulberg. I know I already made a video prior to this one, but that video was kind of an early predictions video where I just want to give you guys my early thoughts on some of the fights, and I did give predictions for that video, but I feel like some of the fights I just didn't do enough research for. So in this video, this is going to be kind of like my finalized video for my finalized picks, where I've done more research and I'm more confident in my picks. If you guys do enjoy the video, please consider liking and subscribing. It means a lot to me and it really keeps me motivated to put out more content. And yeah, let's get started with this. For the first fight, we have Charles Chuck Buffalo Radtke going against Francisco Prado. Charles Radtke is a pretty good all-around fighter. He has very good boxing. I like this guy. I like how he implements a pretty high guard. He has good boxing. Like I said, he's a good wrestler. He looked very impressive against Daniel Frunze, where he was able to do very well in the stand-up, and he was able to easily take down Daniel Frunze and wrestle him. He almost got the round 1 submission, but Daniel Frunze is a dog, and he really couldn't get that. But in the third round, Daniel Frunze was a little more tired and couldn't really dog it out, so it did end up being a win for Charles Radtke, where he did get the rear naked choke. He lost against Mike Mallet, but in this fight, I watched it, but in this fight, Charles Radtke didn't really incorporate any type of wrestling. I don't know if he was scared of Mike Mallett's ground game or his takedown defense, but he didn't really want to wrestle with him, which then obviously led to his demise because he did get knocked out in the second round pretty early. He's a little chinny, but I don't think it will matter against Francisco Prado because Francisco Prado is mainly a wrestler, and he doesn't have that crazy of reach. His win against Matthew Smellsberger, who's just one of the chinniest fighters I've ever seen, just got dropped in a minute. Impressive win. He also has a lot of power, and he's a very good all-around fighter. I like Charles Radtke. He's very impressive. Francisco Prado, a pretty good wrestler, pretty stocky boxer. Not really good on stand-up. He's mainly a wrestler, grappler. In his fight against Nikolai Vershinnikov, he didn't look the best. The only reason this was a split decision and not a UD for Nikolai Vershinnikov is because he kept giving his back to him when he kept going for these most I don't want to say ugly and disgusting, but the most bad, really bad spinning heel kick. He went for that 3 times and he got his back taken 3 times and got him taken down by Francisco Prado, who took him down pretty easily. And I feel like that's the only reason this actually went to split. It would have been an easy win for Nikolai because he had the height and reach advantage, and he was beating him on the stand-up. And he just wanted to do some bullshit. Nikolai Vershinnikov has the worst fight IQ I've ever seen. He's not a good fighter, so I don't really like this loss. Jake Matthews, not one of the best fighters, but he's okay. Lost against Jake Matthews. Daniel Zahuber, who we saw get killed by King Green. But he did beat Lance Gibson Jr., who we did see kill Jay Super, who is pretty chinny. Get back to gooning, buddy. He beat Ottoman Zaitar, who isn't UFC level in my opinion. I don't rate that win. And lost to Jamie Malarkey, who we saw get killed by a pretty good prospect in Quillen Sakid. In my opinion, I just think this is a mismatch. I think Charles Radtke is better everywhere compared to Francisco Prado. I think he has better grappling, jiu-jitsu, better wrestling, better striking. He has a height advantage. He is a little shorter than Prado, which I'm surprised because he kind of has a Taurus Finney build where he's very stocky guy. Charles Radtke has the experience. He is a little older, but I don't think it'll matter here. This guy came to UFC a little too early, kind of like a Trenton Gore, but he isn't like Trenton Gore, where in his fights he just didn't look impressive. So yeah, I will be going with Charles Radtke by decision. In this next fight, we have Kelvin Gastelum going against Vicente, the Silent Assassin Luque. Alright, Kelvin Gastelum, a stocky, very stocky striker, has pretty good takedown defense. He showed that in his fight against Dustin Stolfus, where in the first round, I'm pretty sure he did get taken down, if I'm not wrong. And then in the next 2, he had pretty good takedown defense, and he was able to keep it a stand-up against Dustin Stolfus, where he was at a reach disadvantage, but he was just doing very well, where he would just get into the pocket very well and get some good strikes. And he's not afraid to trade, which is pretty good. I like that. He has a very good chin. He didn't get knocked out by Joe Pyfer. He looked meh in that fight, but it's Joe Pyfer. He's a high-level contender, apparently. Even though I will be fading him in his next fight because he's so buns. Got a win over D-Rod, unlike some people. Kevin Holland, shit can. And lost against Sean Brady. Sean Brady's a high-level grappler. And got a win over Chris Curtis, but you could argue he lost, but I would say he won. That did more damage. Vicente Luque. Ever since Vicente Luque was a really good prospect in the UFC, he beat Bilal Muhammad round 1 knockout. And he beat Jalen Turner by round knockout. He was on a crazy win streak. He would lose randomly to Wonder Boy and some other decent people back in the day. But ever since his knockout loss against Jeff Neal, he just hasn't looked the same. I'm pretty sure he has like brain damage or something from that. And especially in his last loss against Joe Alvarez, brother. Really? Like, Joe Alvarez is a good loss, don't get me wrong, but it was such a bad loss. Like, I recommend you guys rewatch that fight. It was such a bad loss. In the first round, he got knocked down, but he said he got hit in the eye. But, like, everybody, DC, all of them said he just got, like, it was like a knuckle hit near the eye. It wasn't really, like, poking, like, eye poking. And then in the second round, he got 10-8'd, which is getting beat on, had no sort of sense of urgency. Really, really bad look. And in the third round, he literally just got sat on for the entire time. Just again a horrible look. He on my soul, I swear to God, check this fight round 3. He got sat on for 2 minutes. Literally nothing happened for 2 minutes except for like the last 10 seconds where Alvarez just went for like some like hits on the body, like some like pillow fists or something. Has a loss against Kevin Holland, not the greatest, but Kevin Holland isn't that bad. He's pretty tricky sometimes. Grimbo, okay loss. Buckley, good loss. I mean, good win, and then good loss against Buckley. And B. Dos Santos was pretty old. Vicente Luque coming up a weight class. I don't like him in this position. I actually do like Kevin Gastelum here. I think he's gonna put the pace on him. I do like that he got a good win over Stolfist. You could say it was like a close fight, but this was a short notice Kevin Gastelum. And he did miss weight here, but it's a 4-week notice. I don't really blame him. I don't think he'll miss weight here. I think he'll look actually pretty good and impressive against a washed up Vince Luque. Again, Kevin Gastelum isn't in his prime as well, but Vince Luque is just not that guy anymore. And I will be going with KO, even though Vince Luque does have a pretty good chin. Only got KO'd by Buckley and Jeff Neal. But I think Kevin Gastelum will get in the pocket, find the exchanges, because Vicente Luque, he just trades way too much with people. Like, I just don't like how he's, like, okay with, like, trading shots with people instead of, like, actually just getting, like, I don't know. I just don't like this guy's boxing. Kevin Gastelum is pretty good takedown defense. I think this is another, like, mismatch. And I will be taking Kevin Gastelum by KO. I could see the decision here. Yeah, Vicente Luque has a pretty good chin, but I will be going KO for Kevin Gastelum. In the next fight, we have MarQuel Mederos going against Chris Taco Padilla. I don't even know why I did tape study for this one. I really don't, but I did. It didn't really help me. I still ended up with the same consensus that Chris Padilla is just better than MarQuel Mederos. MarQuel Mederos isn't very impressive to me. Decent striker, not the greatest grappler. Got a win over Mark Chonziski on short notice. So, not an impressive win. Regional bum, 8-0, not that good. Can crusher. I had a split decision with Austin Hubert, which again, not impressive. Austin Hubert is not the highest level of MMA. He's really not that good. And he has a bunch of regional wins. Oh, no. He has a win over Quinones, another bum. While Chris Padilla actually has sorry for the stutter, an impressive win over Ismail Bonfim, which in this card, I'm pretty sure Ismail Bonfim and his bigger brother, who was fighting on the main event, were both on the card, and he beat him, bro, which is actually pretty impressive, because you would think that if both brothers are on a card, that he would be, like, literally in his prime, or, like, fighting his best, and Chris Padilla was able to weather the early storm from Bonfim, who was just throwing insane strikes, like looking for the knockout. Chris Padilla with his very good high guard and very high IQ. He has very high IQ in MMA. I like this guy's fight IQ. He's very, very good. He has wrestling. He can wrestle when he needs to. He can put you in the clinch. He's just a good overall fighter. He's good everywhere, mainly in the striking, which I actually really like his high guard. Very, very technical. He's running a 3-4 win, undefeated 4-0 in the UFC. Beat Jai Herbert by split decision. You could argue he lost, but I think he won that pretty dominantly. Not dominantly, but I think he beat him pretty well. Beat Rongzhu pretty okay, and he beat James Laptop. I'm just gonna call him Laptop. Frauded him. Was like one of the first people to actually fraud him. But yeah, I also think this is another mismatch for Chris Padilla. This is actually a step down in competition. I think Ismail Bonfim would beat MarQuel Mederos like by round. I think it would be a decision, maybe, or a round 3 knockout. But I don't think Mederos was that good. He was kind of struggling. He exposed his back to a mid guy on short notice, which wasn't impressive. I wasn't impressed with him in his fight against Choinsky, even though he did win dominantly. I just wasn't impressed, really. He's not really impressive to me. So I do think Chris Padilla is going to win this, and I'm going to take it by decision, even though he does have actually pretty heavy hands. But I think MarQuel Mederos won't get chinned, and I'm going to go with decision. For the next fight, Tatiana Suarez going against Lupita Godinez. again, this is another fight where I just don't know why I needed to do tape study. But some people were going for the crafty pick of Lupita Godinez is gonna win. Oh, I have my Olympic cousin wrestler's gonna help. Brother, it don't matter. Tatiana Suarez is better than Lupita Godinez basically everywhere. I would believe Tatiana Suarez is better in the striking because in the fight with Amanda Lemos, she was doing well against Amanda Lemos, who's a pretty big strawweight like Tatiana Suarez, and was doing well against her in the striking. Where Lupita Godinez is one of the smaller strawweights. She's gonna struggle against Tatiana Suarez with the striking because she's just at such a disadvantage with the height and the reach. Her win against Andrade, yeah, Andrade just wasn't impressive to me. Another small strawweight. I think all of her wins are against small strawweights. Even Mackenzie Dern is a little on the smaller side, but she's like medium or like whatever. She's like a little bigger than her, and she got wrestle fucked. She got wrestle fucked by Verna Jandaroba, and she's just gonna lose to Tatiana Suarez. I wouldn't even mind if Tatiana Suarez keeps us on the feet because I genuinely think she would be on the feet. Had a loss against Weili Zhang, but it's Weili Zhang. Tatiana Suarez has been fighting a lot of injuries and all of that, and that's why people are trying to go for the dog pick in Lupita Godinez. I just don't see it. She looked good against Amanda Lemos until like those last 30 seconds when she was getting rocked. So I do think she's gonna improve her striking because I think she knows that her wrestling is so much better than Lupita Godinez. I don't care that Lupita Godinez is getting her cousins, Olympic wrestler cousins. I don't care. Tatiana Suarez at one point was the best wrestler in the U.S. Out of 300 million individuals, she was the best at something, which is really impressive to me. She has more experience. Age doesn't really matter in women's MMA that much, especially for like the older ones, because we saw Amanda Lemos like putting in the work. Like she's pretty old. I just like that she has the reach and height advantage. I think she'll just put in the work, and I think this is an easy decision for Tatiana Suarez. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Tatiana Suarez by decision. In the next fight, we have Mateusz Gamrot going against Esteban El Gringo Ribovics, and I just think this is a mismatch, bro. I think Mateusz Gamrot is gonna make quick work of not quick work, but he's just gonna beat the shit out of Esteban Ribovics. Now the thing is, people think that Gamrot doesn't have good striking when he literally actually has decent striking. He just got overshadowed by Charles Oliveira, who also has really good striking. But against Ilia Topuria, he just got into the clinch and just got knocked out. Because, brother, it's Ilia Topuria, a very strong guy. Lost to Dan Hooker. But the thing is, whenever he goes against high-level people like Jalen Turner, Dan Hooker, Fiziev, or any of these high-level people, he just gives them way too much respect. He just doesn't do what Gamrot does and just, like, gives them way too much respect and doesn't, like do what I think he could actually, like, do his full potential. So I am going to be taking Gamrot here. I don't think Esteban Ribovics is that good. And I do believe Ludovic Klein, who Gamrot beat by like dominant decision, 30-27, where he just wrestle fucked the shit out of Ludovic Klein. Which, by the way, people were taking Ludovic Klein to beat him because before this fight, he had a 95% takedown defense. 95, and he absolutely shattered that, bro. It's insane. Gamrot really put an amazing performance here. He has high level losses. Dan Hooker, I know, isn't the greatest loss. I arguably think he won that. Dan Hooker just showed great takedown defense against Gamrot, and anytime he would get taken down, he would get up pretty quick. But I don't think Esteban Ribovics is going to do that. He got taken down pretty fast against Elvis Brenner. He lost in Nasrat Haskrat. Had a war with Daniel Zellhuber, and then got a KO against Terrence McKinney and Charlie Kirk. Yeah, that's not even funny. My bad. But Gamrot is going to put the pace here. I don't think he's going to respect Esteban Ribovics, and I think he's going to have an even more dominant win than he had against Ludovic Klein against Ribovics, and he might actually submit him, but I don't really see it. I think Ribovics' ground game is good enough to not get submitted. I just think he's going to get wrestle fucked everywhere. Maybe even clinched against the cage. He's just going to lose this, bro. He's not going to keep this in a stand-up. It's just impossible. Gamrot by decision. Alright, in the next fight, we have Kevin Trailblazer Holland going against Randy Rude Boy Brown. Now, this is a weird fight where I just... I'm going to give you, like... Alright, I'm just going to describe each fighter here. I'm going to give you my breakdown. So, for Kevin Holland, pretty good striker, very lanky guy, has like, probably, like, the best build in MMA you could ask for, like realistically. Very good reach, very good height, and he's one of the bigger welterweights, obviously. Against Mike Mallet, he was beating Mike. I want to remind you guys, he was beating Mike Mallet, who is fighting next week in the main event against Gilbert Burns. He was beating Mike Mallet in the first round until Mike Mallet got two nasty groin shots against him, and that kind of ruined Kevin Holland's like momentum. Like, he was really beating him. He was putting the work on Mike Mallet, but he was really beating him, and I just think he actually could have beaten Mike Mallet if he just didn't get groin shot, which is like, it's a what if situation, so it's kind of weird. With D-Rod, Kevin Holland apparently before that fight he did get knocked out. So he is saying that was the reason why D-Rod was rocking him in the first 2 rounds. Which like okay, but you probably still should not be losing to D-Rod. He was about to knock out D-Rod in the last round because D-Rod was looking shaky. His cardio was not looking the greatest, but Kevin Holland just couldn't get the finish. It was his retirement fight, so it was kind of like a meant to be like fairy tale thing. Yeah. Submitting Vicente Luque, he was just talking he was just talking the entire time, just saying his shit. And yeah, he looked pretty impressive. Beat Gunnar Nelson, which is an okay win, and lost to RDR, which is a good loss. So Kevin Holland is a good striker, has a really good chin, and has good cardio. He has good cardio, has a good chin. He could go 3 rounds pretty easily, and he's just a good overall fighter. The only thing that's wrong with him is this guy just doesn't care. He really, really doesn't care, and that's like the one problem, like the one flaw in his game. I do like how he is. He did like take a decent amount of like break since his last fight, 5 month break. I think he probably took like 1 or 2 months, 1 or 2 months like for break, and then just like started to prepare for Randy Brown. But if you can see in this fight, he was just so active in 2025. He just fought 2 months, and then 2 months, and then 3 months. Brother, he was way too active in 2025. I like that he took a break. He's recuperating. He's getting his game plan together, and I really feel like he's actually locked in and is actually ready to beat Randy Brown on a numbered event. I really do think he's actually locked in for this fight. Now, with Randy Brown, he's not very impressive to me. Randy Brown is a good, lanky guy who actually knows how to use his reach, unlike Kevin Holland. Like, no offense to him. But Randy Brown actually knows how to use his reach against the smaller people. He knows how to use his jabs. He knows how to push the pace. He's just a good striker. He has an okay ground game and okay sprawls like Kevin Holland, but he's nothing crazy. Against Gabriel Bonfim, who's literally a grappler, by the way, he got nasty round 2 KO'd. Like, I saw this brother's eyes go back to his head. He looked like he was dead. It was like the Dion Barbosa versus Melissa Gatto, where this guy just looked like he's so disconnected. And then you can make the argument, it was an early stoppage, brother. This guy was gonna die if the ref didn't stop it. Like, brother, you cannot say that. He lost that fight. It was not an early stoppage. He lost that fight against Nicholas Dabley. Of course, he looked good against Nicholas Dabley. He had the age advantage. He had the height advantage. He had the reach advantage. This was like a fight where they both had like they both hated each other in a way. So they were just both doing dumb shit. And Randy Brown did get knocked down, by the way, which I'm gonna remind you, Randy Brown does not have the best chin, brother. This guy does not have the best chin. He's really gone against nobody who actually has good power except for Nicholas Dabley and Bonfim, who isn't even a striker. I just need to keep saying that. He's not a striker, and he knocked him out. Brother. But he did beat Nicholas Dabley. He did get rocked in the first round. Almost got ground and pounded, but it's 40-year-old Nicholas Dabley, and his nose was broken. Like, brother, of course he was not going to win that. And lost a split decision to Brian Battle, which I do believe he lost that. In the first round, he did put a good pace and was beating Brian Battle. And then Brian Battle was like, brother, this guy is shit. And then was really beating him on the second round. And then Randy Brown just got some random ounce of power and was just like trying to beat him in the clinch, and he really couldn't. I think in the third round you could give it to maybe Randy Brown for doing the more damage, but I think he was just getting ragdolled. He wasn't showing any type of urgency against Ryan Battle, and I do believe he lost that fight against Ryan Battle. All of his wins are just not impressive to me. 40-year-old stocky guy, 40-year-old, just old people. None of his wins are actually good, and his losses are mid. Brian Battle is mid. We saw him get murdered by Johnny Eblin, mid. Gabriel Garfim, he got knocked out by a grappler, mid. But he is going against Bilal Muhammad. He's going to get murdered. Doesn't really matter. So, for my pick, I'm going with Kevin Holland by KO. I don't know why this is a submission. This is going to be a knockout for Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland, this is the first time Randy Brown's ever gone against a young, tall, lanky guy. This is kind of like a mirror match, but Kevin Holland is just better than Randy Brown. I feel like Kevin Holland is going to be locked in here. I think he is the better striker. I know he has better sprawls than Randy Brown, and I know he has better cardio and the better chin than Randy Brown. Randy Brown is an overrated UFC fighter. He is overrated. He is not good. At least Kevin Holland has some impressive wins. I take Vicente Luque's win over any of these wins. I'm not even kidding. I take his good performance against Mike Mella against any of his wins or losses. I think Kevin Holland is gonna look very, very good against Randy Brown, and he's gonna show why. It's gonna be like one of those things where he shows like he could be a top contender, and then when he wins another fight after this, he's just gonna look shit, and then it's just normal Kevin Holland. But I do believe Kevin Holland is gonna win this pretty easily. I don't see him losing this. Maybe Randy Brown could get like some counter lefts and maybe rock Kevin Holland because his chin isn't the greatest, but he's only got knocked out twice. Where Randy Brown is just so chinny. I know he'll get knocked out by Kevin Holland because Kevin Holland actually has power in his hands. Give me Calvin Holland for round 2 TKO against Randy Brown, maybe even round 1. All right, for this next fight, we have the Bellator champs, Patricio going against Aaron Pico. Give me Aaron Pico by round 1 KO. I could really see the decision here, but I'm gonna go with knockout because I do believe Aaron Pico is the better fighter. Patricio Bippo isn't the greatest. He got fed to Yair Rodriguez, got him over Dan Ige, who isn't good. Patricio Bippo is turning 39 years old. He's 5'6" with 77-inch reach advantage. You would think Aaron Pico wins this with every advantage in the book. He's the faster, quicker, better fighter at this moment. He has that knockout power. He can knock out Patricio Bippo. Patricio Bippo has a good chin, though. I think he got knocked out against, Suzuki. Pretty good Japanese prospect. I believe he is Japanese. I don't want to be racist. But Aaron Pico, in the fight against Lerone Murphy, he was looking good, man. He was beating Lerone Murphy till Lerone Murphy got a lucky spinning elbow, brother. Lucky spinning elbow. And we saw Lerone Murphy did good against Evlaw, but I don't know what Evlaw was doing there. The piece of shit almost stole my parlay. But yeah, Lerone Murphy loss isn't that bad. It was a lucky loss. I think Aaron Pico is going to show why he is a top contender in the featherweight division, and he is just going to beat the shit out of Patricio Pitbull. Probably, round 3 TKO. Why not? Why not? I think Pitbull actually has a pretty good chin. But yeah, I'm going to be going with Aaron Pico by round 3 KO. TKO. Now, to start the main card, we have Cub Swanson going against Nate the Train Landwehr. Now, if I'm not wrong, I'm like 99% sure this is Cub Swanson's retirement fight. And that is the main reason why I am going to be picking Cub Swanson to win this by KO. And I'm going to give you my reasons why. Cub Swanson is a good technical boxer, has okay ground game when he needs to use it. But he's mainly a technical boxer. He had a good showing against Andre Fili around 2 years ago. Beat Billy Q, good win, and beat Hakeem, mid win. Lost to Martinez, but he's a pretty heavy-handed power puncher. And got a win over Darius Elkins. He has okay wins. He could win against bums, and he could lose against semi-decent competition. I arguably think he actually beat Andre Fili, by the way. He looked so good in that Andre Fili fight. He looked very, very good. I think he was like 40 still. This guy's very, very good. Wow, Nate Landwehr just hasn't been looking the best recently. He's more of a brawler and like a guy who just has like he was known for his chin. And recently, brother, you've been getting chinned, bro. You've been getting chinned. His chin has been loosening. He's not good at anything. He's not a good UFC fighter. He's not even UFC level in my opinion right now. I really do not believe he's UFC level. Losing to Morgan Charrier, my brother. He's really not that good. Nate Landwehr, just known for his chin. I think he will tank the shots come from Cub Swanson for around 2 rounds. But in the last round, he's going to be down 2 rounds. He's going to do something crazy. He's just going to run at Cub Swanson and going to pray that he gets a knockout. But I don't think he will. I think Cub Swanson is going to do the necessary preparations for this fight because it is his retirement fight. I think he is going to go all out for this one, and I think he is going to do the right preparations to take the win and probably get it by round 3 KO TKO just because of how much of a brawler Nate Landwehr is and how comfortable he is just doing whatever. And I do think he gets round 3 TKO'd because his chin has been loosening up recently. And yeah, I'm going to be going with Cub Swanson by KO in the 3rd round. Now, the next fight, we have Dominick the Devastator Reyes going against Johnny Walker. Now, Dominick Reyes, man. Even odds, pretty accurate. Dominick Reyes lost Carlos Ulberg. This was a weird fight where I feel like Dominick Reyes could have looked so much better, but he just didn't look like the normal Dominick Reyes in his last 3 wins against Krylov, Anthony Smith, and Dustin Jacoby, which is an amazing win. I love this one over Dustin Jacoby. But in that fight against Ulberg, he just didn't look the same. He wasn't putting out the same output he did with the rest of his last wins. He was just so tentative. He was just so worried of the counter punches from Ulberg, and that was the leading decision that got him knocked out. He just didn't want to throw out as much output. He was very twitchy on the feet and with the hands, fainting a lot, wasn't really doing much, and that kind of did end up into his loss. And plus he's chinny, so obviously he did get knocked out. But he did have an impressive win against Krylov, mid-win against Anthony Smith, and a very good win against Dustin Jacoby, who actually has a pretty good chin, so knocking him out, I actually rate that a lot. He was able to survive Azamat Murzakanov, who we're going to talk about later, and lost to Ryan Spann, but that was during his losses. But bro, remember, this guy beat John Jones, the greatest UFC fighter of all time. Bro, put some respect on this guy's name. He arguably could have been one of the best if he didn't get robbed. Now with Johnny Walker got the underdog win over Zhang. Where Zhang, he wasn't checking any of the calf kicks, and that did end up like leading to his calf kick just turning off, and just led to him getting ground and pounded, and just lost to Johnny Walker. He lost to Volkan Ozdemir by knockout, of course, and Ankalaev by knockout. So this is a good loss. This is an okay loss. Ozdemir isn't the worst. He's a good fighter. He could beat Cans, but he's just pretty old. So I don't really rate that loss, but it's a pretty good loss. And he had a draw with Ankalaev because Ankalaev was murdering this guy. He got some like illegal knee. I think it's Anthony Smith. He beat him because Anthony Smith is a candy crusher. So I was leaning with Dominick Reyes at the start, but I'm more confident in Dominick Reyes now because apparently Johnny Walker he was recently sparring with Francis Ngannou, and then he got knocked out by Francis Ngannou. This idiot Johnny Walker just does not care about his career. He is so freely, brother. Why are you fighting Francis Ngannou when you have a fight in 3 weeks against someone who has good power, is a good striker? And it's just like, bro, it makes no sense to me. Like, he got knocked out by Johnny Walker. And with the same thing, if we're using the same basis with Kevin Holland, where he got knocked out before his D-Rod fight, Johnny Walker should look even more chinny than usual. Like, his chin is probably even more, like, loosened up. Like, brother, getting knocked out doesn't make you impervious to getting knockouts. Brother, you would have the best chin then, buddy. Like, that makes no sense. I don't like how Johnny Walker got knocked out by Francis Ngannou recently, so I am obviously going to lean with Reyes, and I was going to go with round 2 KO, because I thought Johnny Walker could survive some of the hits, but after that knockout against Thing, I just think he's going to get murdered by Dominick Reyes, who is the better all-around fighter, has the better wins, and yeah, Dominick Reyes is just better, so I'll be going with Dominick Reyes by round 1 KO. Now for the next fight, we have Curtis Razor Blaydes going against Josh Hokit. Now, Curtis Blaydes really has Oh, I thought I heard someone. Really has every advantage in here. He has more experience, and he's not too old. He has the height advantage. He has the reach advantage, but he just didn't look impressive in the fight against Kuniev, where I do believe he did lose this fight. But apparently he did tear his ACL in his left leg in the first round, and he was just trying to survive and somehow got the win, even though he knows he lost that fight. He looked horrible in that fight, and Josh Hokit is one of the better prospects. I don't know why he's getting such a high level fighter so quick. Curtis Blaydes is good. He could beat Cans. He was losing it against Almeida. Almeida was like, bro, Almeida was whooping him, and then he just got like some like whiffy KO. Almeida's a dog shit. He's really bad. But I was originally going with Curtis Blaydes, but now I am gonna go with Josh Hokit. I do believe Josh Hokit is gonna put the pressure on Curtis Blaydes. I think he could take him down. I think he has the better hands. I just believe Curtis Blaydes, he's just not that, like, he's just slowing down. I think he'll lose this fight, like, where he should have lost against Kuniev. He's going to deservingly lose against Josh Hokit. I can see Josh Hokit getting the knockout, because Curtis Blaydes is quite chinny. He's gotten chinned by Tom Aspinall and Sergey Plavich, and all of his losses are by knockout. So I can see him getting chinned. Josh Hokit, the only problem I have with him is that I just don't know if he could keep up the pace he did against Denzel Freeman. The same with Curtis Blaydes. But he is an athlete. I think he was drafted in the NFL, so he's extremely athletic. He does have the height and reach disadvantage, but I think he's a dog. I think he's one of the better heavyweights right now. I think he's like actually like a top 5 heavyweight, which isn't that impressive, but still, I think he's better than Curtis Blaydes. So I will be taking Josh Hokit by knockout in the second or third round. This is a crafty pick because people are actually going decision. I think he'll get him in the third round, maybe even the first round. Josh Hokit, he's just so explosive. It's just we just don't know if he could keep this up for a few rounds. We just don't know. So that's why I'm going to go with decision, but I do think he beats Curtis Blaydes in a close fight, honestly, in a pretty close fight. Now in our co-main, we have Azamat, the professional Murzakanov, going against Paulo Eraser Costa. Amazing nickname, by the way. I just have to say that. Paulo Costa, 15-4, going against 16-0 Azamat Murzakanov. So Azamat has some pretty good wins. He had a very quick knockout against Radtke, beat Brenton Ribeiro, which isn't the most impressive win, beat Alonso Midfield, who isn't the greatest. Good win over Dustin Jacoby, went to decision, was looking shaky in the third round, which I'm going to talk about later, but this brother's cardio was a little weird, and knocked out Devin Clark. But I do have to remind you, there's this one African guy where he struggled against, Inchawiki. Brother, Azamat was losing to Inchawiki. I think the scorecards were actually 1-1. But I believe he lost the first 2 rounds, and in the third round, I think him and his team knew he needed a knockout. And he did end up getting the knockout, but brother, he had such a close fight against such a mid fighter, bro. Like, I don't know. That wasn't very impressive to me. He is one of the shorter, stockier, older fighters. I don't know how he's 37 and he's doing this to such young, up-and-coming talents. But he is. He really is that guy. He's winning against Paulo Costa, coming off of an impressive win over Roman Kopylov, who I don't really rate that much. He isn't really that good. He doesn't have any impressive wins, in my opinion. So I don't really rate that win. But he does. He's okay. He lost RoboCop and all that. Had a split decision with Sean Strickland, but I don't really know. He's moving up a weight class to light heavyweight. I don't really like that. Apparently he's moving up because he wants to be double champ or something, or the UFC aren't like favoring him right now, or like he just doesn't like the UFC right now, or something, because he has like 20 different like canceled fights. But this is I just want to remind you guys, this is the first fight where Azamat has an even reach advantage. An even brother. Each fight he at least has a 5-inch reach disadvantage because he's such a small, short guy. But he's heavy-handed, bro. He's very, very heavy-handed, and I think it's gonna be hard for Paulo Costa to absorb Azamat's hit when, like, in the fight with Roman Kopylov was, like, he was clipping Paulo Costa. Paulo Costa looked, like, affected by Roman Kopylov's shots, and I just feel like Azamat just has the stronger hits, man. I think Azamat's just stronger. Before my last video, I did say Paulo Costa, there is a path to victory for him. I take it back. I don't really think there is. I think Azamat is the better fighter, especially with the reach. I think he's actually shown an impressive performance where I think with the other fighters, he has to put in more energy and more, like, because Azamat's a he has very good fight IQ, and he knows that he has to put in more effort to actually, like, outpoint and, like, outstrike these taller, lankier people. Where I think Paulo Costa, he's going to have an easier time. He's going to be faster than Paulo Costa. He's going to be quicker. And I just think if he pushes the pace against Paulo Costa, he will get the knockout against Paulo Costa. And I will be going knockout in the second round against Paulo Costa. I think he will get the knockout. I think he is the better fighter than Paulo Costa. I don't rate Paulo Costa that much. I don't rate this win against Kopylov, even though it was a good win, don't get me wrong. Kopylov just wasn't throwing anything, bro. He just didn't he looked horrible in that fight. He looked horrible. I didn't like that win, and I'm taking Murzakanov. I faded him against Radtke, prove me wrong. Even though Radtke did low-key, the brother is a little chinny, but I think Azamat is better here. I think this is a good stylistic matchup for him. Not really good, but I'm glad to see that he actually has like an even reach like advantage kind of in his fight where he's always in a disadvantage. So I will be taking Azamat by KO in the second round. Now for the main event, we have Procházka going against Carlos the Blackjack Ulberg. Now I'm gonna keep this quick and simple. I don't know who wins this fight, bro. This is people are like, a lot of people were taking Yuri, but bro, this is a much closer fight than people think. Where Yuri, brother, Carlos Ulberg is like he has like such a similar stylistic, like he's just so similar to Alex Pereira. But like this is such a bad stylistic matchup for both of them. Where Procházka, he's looking a bad matchup for everybody except for Alex Pereira, where he's just a crazy guy. He'll do anything. He keeps the arms down, but he has shown against the Jamal Hill fight where he can have good head movement. I don't know what he did against Khalil Roundtree. He was just spamming random buttons, but he did end up getting the round 3 KO when he was down 2 rounds. Where with Carlos Ulberg, I don't think you're going to be that lucky, man. I just don't know. Carlos Ulberg looked very impressive against Dominick Reyes, of course. Looked good against Jan Blachowicz, where he did lose a round, but Jan Blachowicz is pretty good. He is a little old, but that still is a good high-level fighter. Former champ. Where the only loss of Carlos Ulberg is against some random Nigerian guy, where the only reason he really lost that fight or got knocked out was because he just wasted his entire gas tank chasing for a knockout, where I believe he actually has learned from that mistake and he's looked a lot better and doesn't really chase for random knockouts anymore, and he actually takes his time, actually like assesses situations and actually knows when to go for the knockout and when to not exert his gas tank. I think that was just a bad early mistake in his career, and I think he's learned from that. I think he's improved from that, and I think he's a lot better since then. Where with Yuri Procházka, it's just such a weird thing where if this was a 3-round fight, this would be an easy 30-27 for Carlos Ulberg, like easy 30-27. But it's just, is Carlos Ulberg able to survive against Yuri Procházka for 25 minutes? That's the only question. Can he survive against Yuri Procházka against 25 minutes? I really don't know. This could honestly go either way. I think this could actually even seep into the 5th round. I was originally going with a round 4 KO with Yuri Procházka, but now I don't know. Because this is such a bad stylistic matchup for both of them. He has like the Alex Pereira archetype, and he has like the pressuring thing that could ruin like the flow of Carlos Ulberg. But I think I'm gonna go Carlos Ulberg, Mara. I actually think I am gonna go Carlos Ulberg. Because I think he has more power than Khalil Rountree and Jamal Hill, which by the way has no ACL, and Khalil Rountree has no gas tank. With Alex Bro, he just, brother, I think, I think, I think Yidi needs the knockout, and if he can't find the knockout, I think he gets knocked out, bro. I think he's gonna get knocked out against Carlos Ulberg. I think it's gonna be in round 5 or round 4, or it's gonna be a miracle round 5 knockout for Yidi. But I think Carlos Ulberg, even though he's the older, less reached guy, I think he's just gonna keep. I think he's gonna keep the distance, look for good counters, get those calf kicks in, and just put the pace on Yuri and just outpoint him, bro. I think Carlos Ulberg is just gonna fight the smarter fight. He's just gonna keep the distance. He's not gonna find the pocket like how Jamal Hill or Khalil Rountree is. I think he is the better fighter. I think he is the perfect counter for Yuri Procházka, and I sadly do think Yuri loses this by KO, bro. I really want to go Yidi. Like, believe me, I really love Yidi, but I had to go Carlos Ulberg because he's just the better fighter, and I want to get the right picks. But yeah, that will do it for my picks on UFC 327. I'm gonna do a quick recap for all of them. For the first fight, I have Charles Radtke by decision against Francisco Prado. I have Kevin Gastelum getting a KO in the round 2 against Vicente Luque. I have Chris Padilla decision over MarQuel Mederos. I have Tatiana Suarez getting a decision over Lupita Godinez. I have Mateusz Gamrot getting a decision over Esteban Ribovics. I have Kevin Holland knocking out Randy Brown. I have Pico knocking out Patricio Pitbull. I have Swanson knocking out Nate Landwehr. I have Dominick Reyes knocking out Johnny Walker. I have Josh Hokit knocking out Curtis Blaydes. I have Azamat Murzakanov knocking out Paulo, and I have Carlos Ulberg with the late knockout against Yuri Procházka. Now, these are my final picks for UFC 327. These will be my final picks. This will do it for me. If you guys enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. It means a lot to me, and it really keeps me motivated to keep on pushing out great content for you guys. And that will do it for me. I hope you guys have a good day, and God bless.